You've felt it, haven't you? That persistent whisper, the feeling that reality isn't quite as solid as it seems. That what you see, what you experience, is somehow a reflection of something deeper within you. It's not just a feeling. It's the mechanism. It begins with a simple act, one you perform countless times a day without thought. You observe, you measure, and in that very act, you cement a sliver of possibility into what you call your present. But every observation isn't just seeing, it's selecting. It's collapsing an infinite field into a single, concrete outcome. This isn't a passive process. It's the most powerful, yet overlooked, force in your universe. And before we dive deeper, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell. These revelations aren't random, and if this video found you, it was meant to. Now let's begin. The world presents itself as fixed, isn't that right? A stable stage upon which your life unfolds. But what if that stability is an illusion, held in place by your continuous act of looking? What if every time you measure a situation, an outcome, or even yourself, you're not just seeing what's there, but actively defining it into existence? This is the measurement trap. You look in the mirror and declare yourself tired or unsuccessful, and in that moment, countless other emergent possibilities for your state collapse. They simply vanish, unobserved, unmeasured. Your consciousness, acting as a profound filter, pulls one stream of reality out of the quantum flux and renders it solid. This isn't just about positive thinking, it's about the raw, undeniable mechanics of perception. Every judgment, every label, every conclusion you draw about your circumstances slams the door on alternative realities that were equally available moments before. You've felt this loop, but never named it. You wonder why challenges repeat themselves, why certain patterns stubbornly persist, and it's because your observer is trapped in a continuous cycle of remeasurement, reconfirming the same limited reality over and over again. The trap isn't external, it's woven into the very fabric of how you process information, how your consciousness interacts with the unmanifest field. It keeps you tethered to a familiar self and a familiar world, even when that world no longer serves you. But what happens when that relentless observation of the familiar creates a loop that feeds itself? Next, we'll expose the mechanics of the attention loop feedback. Your attention isn't just a spotlight, it's a magnetic force. What you focus on expands, not just in your mind, but in your perceived reality. This is the attention loop feedback, a self-reinforcing circuit where your current observations dictate what your subconscious prioritizes, which then shapes what you notice next. It's a closed system, incredibly difficult to break free from once established. If you consistently pay attention to lack, to limitation, to struggle, your subconscious mind begins to filter for evidence of precisely that. It's not malicious. It's just efficient. It's confirming the operating parameters you've unconsciously set for it. Then, new instances of lack, limitation, and struggle appear, drawing your attention even more, cementing the loop tighter and tighter. You think you're just reacting to reality, but you're actively generating the next frame. This loop is why breaking habits feels so impossible, why cycles of failure or success perpetuate themselves. You're not stuck because reality is fixed. You're stuck because your perception is locked into a recurring loop, constantly seeking and finding confirmation of its own prior measurements. This feedback mechanism is the hidden engine behind much of your lived experience. It's what keeps you returning to the same problems, the same relationships, the same self-talk, because your internal observer is perpetually feeding itself the same data. It's a powerful engine, but who is driving it? Next, we'll explore how identity itself functions as your observer hardware, the very instrument constructing these loops. Who are you? The answer to that question isn't just a label. It's the fundamental operating system for your entire perceived reality. Your identity acts as your observer hardware, the sophisticated, yet often self-limiting, instrument through which all perception flows. It defines the parameters, establishes the filters, and ultimately dictates what possibilities can even enter your field of awareness. Think of it as a finely tuned antenna. An identity of "I am not enough" or "I am unlucky" isn't just a thought. It's a foundational setting. This setting then instructs your observer hardware to selectively receive and interpret information that aligns with that core identity. It's not that opportunities don't exist. It's that your identity, as the hardware, is simply not tuned to receive them. This hardware isn't static. It's constantly being upgraded, downgraded, or even sabotaged by your ongoing beliefs and self-narration. Every time you affirm who you are, consciously or unconsciously, you're recalibrating this powerful instrument. Your repeated failures weren't proof you're weak. They were proof your old self, your old identity hardware, was still rendering the same limited reality. The profound truth is that much of what you call your reality is simply the direct output of this identity as hardware system. It's not just observing, it's actively transmitting. But what happens when this deeply entrenched hardware begins to malfunction or even break down entirely? Next, we must confront the unsettling process of observer collapse and the death of possibility. When the tightly held framework of your identity begins to fray, the familiar world around you can feel like it's crumbling. This is observer collapse, and it's a terrifying, yet essential, stage where the very hardware of your perception starts to dissolve. The labels, roles, and narratives that once defined you lose their grip, creating a profound sense of disorientation. This collapse isn't just emotional, it's quantum. As your identity loosens, the rigid boundaries around your perceived reality also become porous. Possibilities that were firmly shut off by your old self-definition suddenly flicker into view, not as abstract ideals, but as tangible, emergent realities. But before new possibilities can fully form, the old possibilities, those tied to your collapsing identity, must die. This death of possibility is what makes collapse so painful. It's the letting go of what you thought you were, what you thought you could achieve, and what you thought your world was made of. The perceived safety of the known vanishes, leaving a void. You might experience profound confusion, a loss of direction, because the very instrument that organized your reality is now in pieces. This is why many resist change so fiercely. The subconscious understands that identity shifts necessitate a terrifying death of who you thought you were, and by extension, the world you created. But what if the effort you put into resisting this collapse is actually part of the paradox that keeps you stuck? Next, we delve into the paradox of effort. You've been taught that effort leads to results, that struggle is the path to success. But when it comes to shifting your perceived reality, this often becomes the paradox of effort. The harder you intensely try to force a new outcome while operating from an old identity, the more you paradoxically reinforce the very limitations you're attempting to transcend. Your effort, born from a sense of lack or struggle, becomes a measurement. It signals to your observer hardware that this is hard, this is missing, this requires immense struggle. And what does your reality do? It dutifully reflects that measurement back to you, showing you more things that are hard, more things that are missing, more instances requiring immense struggle. It's not that action isn't required, it's the energetic resonance behind the action. When effort comes from a place of desperation, fear, or a belief in limitation, it becomes an act of confirmation, solidifying the very reality you wish to escape. You're pouring energy into maintaining the exact conditions you claim to want to change. The true shift isn't in striving harder within the existing paradigm, but in recognizing that your effort can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. This subtle distinction unlocks a deeper mechanism of release and surrender. But what if the greatest power lies not in asserting your presence, but in withdrawing it? Next, we uncover the profound effects of unobserving as reality abandonment. If observation solidifies reality, then what happens when you intentionally withdraw your attention, your measurement, your seeing from a particular outcome or pattern? This is unobserving as reality abandonment, a powerful act of conscious non-engagement that slowly, imperceptibly, causes that reality to dissipate. Think of it like a spotlight. If you move the beam, the area it once illuminated returns to shadow. Similarly, when you consciously cease to feed a negative thought loop, a limiting belief, or an undesired circumstance with your mental energy and attention, you begin the process of abandoning its reality. It's not denial, it's a strategic withdrawal of your observational power. This isn't about ignoring problems, it's about ceasing to energetically confirm their existence. By refusing to remeasure a lack, a struggle, or a painful memory, you starve it of the required quantum energy to persist. It's a slow fading, a gradual unraveling, until that particular stream of reality simply collapses from lack of observation. The old self is not removed by confrontation, but often by gentle abandonment. This is why some problems seem to solve themselves when you finally let go. You weren't letting go of the problem. You were letting go of your hold on its reality. But how does your brain internally assist in this intricate editing process? Next, we'll see how your reticular activation system functions as a reality editor. Deep within your brain lies a tiny but mighty gatekeeper, the reticular activation system, or RAS. This isn't just about waking you up. It's your brain's own personal reality editor, meticulously filtering the torrent of sensory information, deciding what's important enough to reach your conscious mind, and crucially, what to ignore. Your RAS is constantly scanning, looking for patterns, information, and opportunities that align with your dominant thoughts, beliefs, and intentions. If you've internally declared, money is hard to come by, your RAS will filter out evidence of abundance and opportunity, presenting only the data that confirms your pre-existing belief. You're not seeing less, you're being shown less. This internal editor doesn't argue with your conscious mind, it simply executes its directives. It's why when you decide to buy a specific car, you suddenly see that car everywhere. It's not that more of them appeared. Your RAS simply prioritized that information, pulling it from the background into your foreground. It's tirelessly working, shaping your perceived environment. The RAS is a powerful ally in manifestation or an unwitting saboteur. Understanding its role is key to intentionally programming your perception, to actively edit your reality closer to your desired state. But what about the information from your past? How does memory play its part in this editing process? Next, we'll dive into memory as a quantum lens. Your memories are not fixed, immutable recordings of the past. They are dynamic, reconstructive acts, each time you recall them. Memory functions as a quantum lens, actively shaping your present reality by influencing your perception and expectation of the future. The lens isn't just reflecting the past, it's projecting it forward. Every retrieval of a memory comes with a slight, almost imperceptible edit. You are not remembering the event itself, but your last remembrance of it. And in that act of remembrance, your current state, your current identity, subtly alters the narrative, the emotional valence, and the meaning of that past event. This means your past is not truly fixed. If you carry memories of past failures, perceived injustices, or deep wounds, this quantum lens continues to project those limitations onto your present and future. It's why cycles repeat. Your memory lens is constantly reinforcing the expectation of similar outcomes based on a dynamically edited past. You're not stuck in the past, your present is rendering the past. The key isn't to erase memory, but to consciously re-edit it, to shift the meaning, to collapse the old emotional attachments. This re-editing isn't just therapeutic. It's a powerful act of quantum reshaping, changing the very data stream your RAS prioritizes. But what happens when the old reality, edited or not, stubbornly refuses to disappear immediately? Next, we face reality lag and phantom persistence. Even after you've consciously shifted your attention, unobserved aspects of your old reality, or begun to re-edit your memories, you might experience reality lag. This is the phenomenon where the external circumstances of your world haven't quite caught up to your internal shift. There's a lingering echo, a phantom persistence of the reality you've started to abandon. This lag can be incredibly frustrating, resembling a faint signal from a past broadcast. You've changed, you feel it, but the mirror of your external world still shows reflections of your old self, your old problems. It's as if the universe needs a moment to recalibrate, to update its rendering based on your new input. This phantom persistence is not a sign of failure. It's merely the inertia of a reality that was once strongly observed. It takes time for the gravitational pull of your past measurements to dissipate. Recognizing this lag is crucial because it's a trap where many lose faith, thinking their efforts were in vain, and thus reobserve the old reality back into stronger existence. The trick is to continue to not observe the phantom, to allow it to fade into the background noise, understanding that its grip is weakening. But how do you actively practice this withdrawal, this intentional non-measurement? Next, we'll embark on a guided experiment, the observer withdrawal. Now, let's engage in a guided experiment, the observer withdrawal. Find a quiet space, close your eyes, and bring to mind a persistent problem, a recurring unwanted pattern, or a specific limiting belief you hold about yourself. Don't analyze it, simply acknowledge its presence. Now imagine your attention as a bright, focused beam of light. For years, you've continuously shone this light on this problem, measuring it, analyzing it, reconfirming its existence. With each observation, you've solidified its reality. Gently, deliberately, begin to dim that light. Don't fight the problem, don't try to solve it right now. Just slowly, steadily, withdraw your beam of attention from it. Imagine the light becoming softer, then dimmer, until it's just a faint glow, then merely a shadow. You're not eradicating it, you're simply ceasing to actively render it. Feel the sensation of non-engagement, of allowing that problem to drift out of your central focus. It might still exist on the periphery, but you are no longer actively feeding it, no longer measuring it into solid form. Hold this withdrawal for a few moments. This intentional unobserving is a powerful act of reality abandonment. But as your old reality fades, what emerges in the periphery, calling your attention to a new path? Next, we delve into symbols, glitches, and synchronization. As you withdraw your attention from the old, the universe begins to communicate with you in a new language. You start noticing symbols, glitches, and synchronizations. These aren't random occurrences. They are fractures in the ordinary, signals that the field of possibility is shifting, and your new observations are beginning to render alternative realities. A symbol might be a recurring animal, a specific phrase you hear repeatedly, or an image that keeps appearing, carrying a profound personal meaning you can't quite articulate. These are guideposts, echoes from unmanifested potentials, drawing your awareness towards them. They are hints of what is coherent with your evolving internal state. Glitches are those moments when reality seems to bend or skip a beat. A forgotten memory suddenly reappears with perfect clarity. A conversation you had years ago perfectly predicts a current event. These are not coincidences. They are the seams of reality showing, indicating that the old timeline is losing its grip, and the laws you thought were absolute are becoming more fluid. Synchronizations are the purposeful, meaningful coincidences that feel too perfect to be chance. They are breakthroughs in the noise, showing you that your shift in observation is aligning you with resonant frequencies in the quantum field. These are not just pleasant surprises, they are feedback loops, confirming that the new reality you are seeking is already active, waiting for your full observation. But who or what is truly orchestrating this intricate, unfolding dance of perception? Next, the ultimate revelation. The collapse mechanism is you. You've traced the loops, the traps, the inherent power of your observation. You've seen how identity shapes perception, how attention renders reality, and how even memory isn't a fixed record but a dynamic lens. The final and most profound truth is simple, yet often resisted. The collapse mechanism is you. You are not merely an inhabitant of reality, you are its co-creator, its conscious renderer. Every thought you entertain, every belief you hold, every emotion you embody is a direct instruction to the quantum field, collapsing infinite possibilities into the specific, experiential reality you call yours. There is no external force making these choices for you. The universe isn't happening to you, it's happening through you. Your inner state, your inner world of observation and expectation is the ultimate filter, the ultimate engine of manifestation. Your struggles, your triumphs, your repeated patterns, they are all direct outputs of this internal collapse mechanism. You are the locus of creation. This realization isn't about blame, it's about empowerment. It's understanding that the power to shift your reality doesn't come from external seeking, but from internal recalibration, from a conscious engagement with your own observational power. This profound understanding isn't random. There's a reason you're hearing this now. Next, the final call, you were meant to find this. Of all the information swirling in the digital ether, of all the paths you could have taken today, you landed here. This isn't a coincidence. You were meant to find this. Your inner observer, even unconsciously, has been scanning, searching for these very truths, for this profound blueprint of reality. Something within you already resonated with these insights, a deep knowing that scratched at the surface of your awareness. The questions you've harbored, the struggles you've faced, the desire for something more, they led you here to this precise moment, to this understanding of your own power as a conscious observer. This isn't just information, it's an activation. It's a recognition of the hidden mechanisms that have always been at play, shaping your world. Your journey into conscious observation begins now, not as an academic exercise, but as the fundamental shift in how you engage with your own reality. The threads of truth have been laid bare. Now, it's time to choose what you will observe next. Make sure to subscribe for more videos